Welcome back. This is Chris with Custom Creative Carvings. Got another video for you today. I just got done chopping some dowels, shortening them up on my crosscut sled. Worked fantastically. So now I'm going to move forward a little bit. I've got to do some processing of these dowels on my CNC machine, and because it has a very tight tolerance, I need to go through some setup. So today I'm going to be talking about a way of calibrating the fourth axis and actually the tilt on my fourth axis on my Legacy CNC machine. So stick around and I'll show you a tool that I use to help calibrate that axis. It's also the same tool that I use to calibrate the squareness of my table to my blade and my stop or my fence to the table for my table saw. So let's get to that. Today, I'm working on the Legacy Woodworking Machinery Maverick 3x5. This is a 3-axis machine that has a 4th axis for rotary and a 5th axis that allows the rotary to tilt, giving the ability to do tapered spindles. If that tilt is not in perfect calibration, it gives you a taper that you don't want. And for the working I'm going to be doing today, I need a very strict tolerance on my taper. So I broke out a calibration device that I picked up for my table saw. This is the Easy Align, the igauging Easy Align. I got this from Chips Fly, and I'll put a link for that in the description. Great device, great price. One thing I will say is, as this came to me, the main bar here is twisted. I don't know if you're able to see that, but what this ends up doing is allowing wobble in the device. And I have reached out to them via email. I haven't heard back from them, and I will update this in the comments as it goes, or in the description as they respond. Hopefully they'll just be able to send me a bar back. It didn't make it so I couldn't calibrate my table saw. I was still able to do that. It just took a little bit more attention to detail. This is not one of the purposes they describe it for. They say it was for, or they recommend it for the table saw and the jointer, and I plan on using it for both of those. But I figured I could use this to help calibrate my CNC machine. Let's do some close-ups and I'll show you exactly what we're going to do here. Here we are at the headstock of the machine. I have taken off the chuck and the tailstock for the purpose of calibration this morning. So what you can see I've done here is I've taken the gauge, clamped it firmly up against the bottom, clamped it to my dust collection cover. This is rigid and solid square. So I've connected that down and positioned this down above the rail. So what I'm going to do is lower that until it contacts. So after it contacts, I'm going to depress that slightly until it gets down a little bit. That outer benzel does rotate, so I'm going to loosen this up. Too close, can't focus. I'm going to loosen this lock. I'll square this up so we can see exactly where we're at. And then I'm going to rotate that until that zero is right lined up. Lock this back down. Now I'm going to come up over to my machine and re-zero my Z axis, my Z, or rear zero my Z. So now I've got my Z zeroed. I'm going to raise it up, run to the other side of the machine. Make sure you clear this because it would not be good to hit that tailstock. Okay, I go all the way as far as it'll let me go. And drive it down a little way. get it close, and then I'm going to do a manual data input of Z0. So it's going to drive that down. Now I'll be able to come in here and look at this gauge and see how close I am. So I didn't get it completely lined up before. I was a half of a mil under, and I'm still half a mil under 0. So that tells me I am level. Now if I need even more exactness, because there can be some deviation in the extrusion, what I can do is I can bring that same down here. I can line it up right here on my headstock. Now I don't want to hit it on the threads. I want to bring that right down. So again, I'm going to adjust that. Lock it in. Zero out my Z. Come back. Bring it up off it. Bring it down to my tailstock. Go to Z0. Now I'm going to come down and check my calibration. Now I'm 1 thou off. That is okay within tolerance of what I need. I've got a 10 thou tolerance, so 1's not going to be too big of an issue. If this was an issue, I could loosen these 4 bolts, these 4 set screws, and raise this up that 1 thou to get that exact calibration. So there's a setup of how to get an exact calibration on the tilt of the Legacy Maverick. Thanks for joining me. I posted a link for the Easy Align in the description below. Again, no sponsors in this video, just something I picked up, something I found useful. Please hit the subscribe button. I will be putting out more content. Let me know what you thought in the comments, things that I could do better or things that you'd like to see. Appreciate it. Have a great day.